Hello everyone, this is Pedro from Pytalist again. Today we're gonna teach you how to use the debugger. So basically I'll explain the VS Code debugger and then the PDB built-in debugger that comes with Python. So debugging is the life of a software developer. If you don't know how to debug, your life will be harder. So let's get started. I just built like quickly a Python environment here, which probably I just installed PyTest, and then I did one package with one module here, which have got one function. It's a bit of a funny function. So I have a blog post that I explain the behavior of object in Python, which is interesting. And then we're just going to go through in this process by debugging. So what this function does is create a list and then a dictionary with a key. And the key is a list. And then you start to iterate through a range of size 10. And then for every item of this range, that's gonna append that item into the list. When the item is number 6, let me just remove that breakpoint for now. I'm just getting ahead of myself. That's the original function. And then when the I equals 6, I'm going to here on my function append to this key the list. That's gonna be a list inside of a list, and then that's gonna continue. So my expectation is that I'm going to test this function, and I wrote a test function that whatever return, it's gonna be the return 6. So let's see if the test is function. It's pretty obvious. So that's when the I is 6, that's gonna append that list into the dictionary key, and then it will continue the range, and then the dictionary will be frozen, and then it's gonna be 0 to 6. Which I'm just going to assert here in my test. So let's see if that's the truth. So if I do, because I'm having a module, I'm just run PyTest as a module, and I'm just gonna have one folder. So I'm just gonna run that, and oh, the test failed. It's saying to me that that is different to that. So why it's not like that? It keep on adding. So let's see what's happening. So for that, what I can do here, if I'm using the debugger, so I create a test script. I'll call it not test script. I'll call the debug script, because I wanted to run that function to see what's going on. And then I will insert a breakpoint. So let's create this script here. Script.py, and then I'll say from my package, which is in the same directory, import my function. Is that my package? Yeah. It's import the module. Okay. So, and then result equals package module, and then my function. Okay, I'm just gonna execute this function, but then I go on my module and then the function, and I insert what I call breakpoint. So I want to stop right here. So that's stop a little bit early, and then I can show you a step through better. I'm going to go outside of the function and stop here. All right. And then to run the debugger, you have to press that little bug with a play button, and then you press that, and then you have to click for the first time. You have to set up, and then you click run and debug, and it's pretty much on their way. Can you see that the code stopped here? So you have these options here to just play until it has got another breakpoint, which is the continue, which can be also F5, as you can see here. There is this step over, which is step over that line, and then there is the step into. So when to use step over and step into, that's I'm going to explain, and then step out. For example, in this case, it get into a function. If I, for example, step over, that's gonna finish because I need to step into this function to inspect. So we can run the debug again, and then this time we're gonna step into. What happened now is that we enter that function, and then when I press step over, that's gonna execute this line. So and then here on the side you can see the objects, so the locals and the globals. So the locals are all the variables inside this function. So at the moment we declare bizarre list, and it's just an empty list, and then we keep on stepping over, and then for I range, so it's declare the dictionary at mount is like this, and then when I step over that, and then I equals to 0, and then I equals to 6 not, it's 0, and that's gonna skip that part, and then we continue to execute. Now I equals to 1. Can you see that appended 1? So that's gonna append another item. So let's go until it's 6. Okay, and then finally 6. Can you see at 6? Because it's 6, it's gonna execute this line, and then let's see. All right, so appended my list into my list of the dictionary key, but why it continues to add? Now it's 7, but added here. So, well, I thought that this bizarre list was another object, but it happens to be that in Python, that object is the same. Even though I'm not looping through here and appending anything on that list, it keeps on adding. So that's not the behavior that I want. So what I want to happen in my test, let me just get out of this. I'm already. Let's go back to my tests and explain to you. I wanted to freeze that. I don't want it to keep on adding items to my list when it reached the number 6 into the range loop. So what I do, I need to create a deep copy. So deep, sorry, I need to import, sorry, it's from copy, import deep copy, and then instead of appending the bizarre list, I'm just gonna create a, I call it frozen copy, which is gonna be equals deep copy of my bizarre list. Oops, not B. Bizarre list. And then I'm gonna append the frozen copy. Cool. Now let's do the same. Let's stop here instead of here. Well, let's do both. All right, and I'll show you something. Now let's debug. So I'm gonna step into, and then I'm gonna to continue until there's the next breaking point. So at the moment it's gonna frozen copy is that here, and then I'm gonna append in the dictionary the frozen copy, but when it continues the iteration, even though the list keeps on growing, that copy is frozen. So now my test should pass. So let me just remove that, stop the debugger, go back to my file, my terminal, and then if I do a PyTest, it should pass. There we go, my test passed. Alright, so you learn how to use the VS Code debugger. Let's now use the PDB. So I have this site here. I'm just gonna put in the description. So the PDB, you see that I'm using Python version 3.10. So we are in 2023. So this website says that if you are using Python 3.7 above, you don't need to import PDB and set trace. You just put a breakpoint where you want the code to stop execution. So Python 3.6, I think it's already not supported, so you should install 3.7 and above, so you don't need to worry about that syntax here, unless you are working in some old code base. Which you shouldn't use 3.6. So it worked very similar, but with some advantages and disadvantages. So let's see how it works. You do a breakpoint here, and then you just execute the debug script. So Python. So you need to execute the debug script, and then that's going to execute and stop where there's a breakpoint. Can you see that it opens a PDB terminal here? And then it's like a shell where you, a terminal, Python terminal where you can execute Python code. You can do like any Python code here. It should work. Yeah. But you have access to the variables. So I can print the bizarre list. It's at the moment 0. I can print any variable here. Cool. And then, so as in the instruction says here, to do next, you just press next N, or you either write next, or you put the letter N, and then it goes next. And then it shows what's going to be the next line that's going to be executed, which is going to be that one. It's in line 8 at the moment. I think it shows here the module and the line here. So if I put, for example, a bizarre list now, it has got one item. And if I put my dict, it's going to be the original state, but the next line would be to append 1, so it's in line 8, and then I put next, and then that's going to be the breakpoint, and then next one is going to be that one that's not going to execute. It's going to go back to line number 7, which is that one here. So, and then I can print my dict. It's nothing. Bizarre list, yeah, has got 2 items. So we can just put in next until let's see, how is the bizarre list? Yeah, it's almost there. I'm just gonna go another one. No, not yet. Now I think it's ready. So now that's gonna execute through the that thing, and then next, and then let's see, frozen copy. Yeah, and then next. So my dict. Yeah, nice. So let's continue. So let's see, the my dict. Yeah, it's frozen, and my list. Yeah, it's growing. So, and to quit, you just press quit. And then you can use the same step in and step over. To step in is S, step over is next, as I was showing you. Continue or F5 is from the VS Code. Here in PDB it's called C. So let's put a breakpoint now on this debug script. Let's put a breakpoint here and do it again. Let's see what happens. And then let's step into, which is S. So that's gonna be the next. If I put S, that's step into the function. So here I'm in the function. But let's quit and do it again. So if I put continue, it's gonna go out because it's not going to step into. So another thing that I can do two breakpoints. I can do a breakpoint here, and then I can do a breakpoint, in the function right here. If I go script, it got into the function here, and then I'm just gonna step into, and then I'm just gonna continue. Let's do next and see bizarre list. So at the moment it's still on the first iteration. The list has been initialized. So if I put continue, it's gonna go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then don't stop, and then we'll stop when it's 6. So if we press C, so what do you think it's gonna be? I think it's gonna be 6. Yes. Next, and then append, and that's pretty much it. Not each. Then quit to get out. So another advantage of the PDB is that sometimes you are developing and you wanted to just run your tests again and then debug while you're testing. And that can be done. And I even can put breakpoints in my test functions. If I'm testing and then I just want to break here, and then I just put pytest, that's gonna stop here, and then I print the result. That's gonna be available for me, so it's pretty good. Or I can test and stop in my script. I don't need even to create that script here. I can kind of delete that, and then I go to my package module and then put a breakpoint here, and then keep on doing that development. So that's going to stop there, right? So there we go. So that's it. If you have any questions, you put in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching, and until next time.